Well, hello students. Glad to have you back again for this next lesson, a continuation of lesson 49 dealing with the slope y-intercept form. And of course today we're actually going to go into graphing it. So I hope you brought along a couple sheets of graph paper, and in so doing, when you do the assignment, you can actually take a photocopy of that or bring it to the next class and be able to show it to me on a live classroom situation when we meet next time. But you need to have that ready. In the future, we'll have some pre-completed forms that will include your graph paper with the equations that we'll be performing. Anyway, let's go back to the lesson last week, the assignment. We had 5 problems to figure out slope and y-intercept form, but before we find those, we have to change the equation to the y-intercept form. So let's do that now. Pretty easy if we remember the equality property. Problem number 2 of your assignment says this. We want to get rid of the, let's use a different color there. I'll go ahead and use red so that we can visualize. Let's see, we're going to get rid of the 3x, put it over here. Let's make it negative 2y equals, and we want to put the x slope first, negative 3x, and then of course include that. So I hope you did that on your assignment. From there, we can now get it down to the y. So we know that if it's a negative 2y, let's divide by negative 2. Let's do that the same in both over here. Isn't that correct? Equality property says whatever you do to one side, do it to the other side. So we're dividing all parts by negative 2, so we get it down to that y equals, and remember I said leave it in improper fraction form. Don't change 3 halves to 1 1/2. Leave it 3 halves, and you know it's a positive y, because a negative into a negative equals a. You learned your integer rules very well, didn't you? So now we have 3/2 x. And then what's negative 2 into negative 2? That's positive 1. I hope you didn't make the easy mistake of leaving it as positive 2. That just shows me you didn't complete the problem or the process of equality properties. So that should be positive 1. Now, if you remember correctly, the x always tells you what the slope is, a positive 3/2, meaning that the slope's going to go up 3 and over 2, according to the rise and run. And then the point of intersection is going to be at 0, 1. We'll start doing it that way in parentheses. Y-intersect, there's your y. It's always on the 0, x. So let's see where that is. It starts right there. So you don't have to do this in your homework today, but I'm just showing this is a preview of what we'll be doing in today's lesson. We're going to chart it on the graph paper. We're going to use our slope, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2 over. Oh, look at that. So we start at 0, 1. We go up to 2 and 4. That's your new coordinate point. And now if we take our straight edge, we're going to draw our linear equation line. And then the last thing we do is we take the original equation. It's not, the original equation is not that one, it's that. So I would put 3x minus 2y equals negative 2. So that's just a little sneak preview of today's, but your lesson should include this. Y equals, the slope is that, and the y-intersect is that. All right, with that in mind, let's go to number 3. Number 3, the equation was x plus 4y equals 4. All right, so we want to do our 4y. Get rid of that. Let's put it over there. 4y equals negative x plus 4. All right, now we're going to divide both sides by 4. All right, let's remember a few little peculiar items that I've mentioned time and time again. Y is going to equal, now what's the invisible coefficient here for x? Most of you remember it is 1. You're going to put 1 over 4 because that's what that means. Now, what is 4 into 4? Not 4, 1, thank you. So now we have the slope of 1/4, meaning going up 1 over 4, and y-intercept is what? At 0, 1. Or if you just put down 1, that's the y-intercept point. Are you good on that one? Very good. Let's do another one. Got a couple more left here. We'll shoot real quickly. You can see how the work's done. Number 4 is 5x plus 2y equals -10. All right, let's see. We're going to get the 2y by itself. We're going to make that minus 5x minus 10. Don't forget your integer rules now as we divide. And let's see, y is going to equal, remember, improper fraction. 2 into -5 is -2/5. And 2 into -10 is -2. Very good. Slope. That one means you're going down 5 and over 2. We could do it here. I'm not going to do any more of this right now. We're going to reserve that for the lesson. And then, of course, your y-intercept is what? 0, -2. That's correct. Did you do that on the assignment? Let's try the 2 last ones, and then we'll get to today's lesson. Here we go. Number 4. That was number 3 we just did. Number 4, no, this is number 5. All right, number 5 is x minus 4y equals 12. All right, we have -4y equals -x plus 12. Integer rule, leave that the same, subtract that. So now we're going to divide by what? -4. All right, let's see. -4, -4. All right. -4 and -4 leaves you the y by itself. -4 into -1 is 1 over 4x, your positive integer rule. And then -4 into +12 is -3. You got it. So by now you know that 1/4 is the slope and 0, -3 is your intercept points. All right, very good. Last one for the assignment. Let's see if you got 100. How many are working on 5 for 5? Good. All right, let's get this last one done. Number 6 is 2x plus 5y equals 10. You know what to do? You should. We're going to make it 5y equals -2x plus 10. We're going to divide by what? 5. You got it. I hope it's showing. Now we have 5. We have -2/5 x. And we have a positive 10. Come on. Don't go so quick that you forget what you're doing. It's a 2. All right, so we have the -2/5 slope, and we have the point of intersection at 0, 2. So let's, in today's lesson, if you just put down 2, that is correct, as in any of the other ones. If all you identified was y-intersect by the number itself, fine. But in today's lesson, you'll see me switch over to this form. So let's go ahead and get ready. If you pull up your assignment sheet, you'll be able to see this. You should have your graph paper ready to perform. And let's see what we need to do. This one tells me that we're going to have graph paper available. We're going to practice the problems, okay? And then you're going to need additional graph paper to do the even ones in the assignment. And hopefully you'll have those ready to just photo and send me a copy via email. So let's look at the odd numbers only. On the assignment, you'll be responsible for just the even. Okay? So let's begin. Same old process. Let's start it over. Go ahead and look at that one. There's a problem here, isn't there? Is the y on the left side? Do I like the y variable being on the left or right side? Which one have I taught you? You know by now, I want that thing here. Now, equality property says that if minus 3x minus 2 is equal to that, can we not just flip-flop them and rewrite them so that the y is over here without using any of the equality properties? Let's see if we can do that. We can restate it just like looking in a mirror. It's the same thing both ways, just on opposite sides. So let's put the 2y over here. You're allowed to do this. This is permissible. Let's just switch and put them that way. Now, let's see what we have. So, it's just like I taught you a long time ago when we started looking at the commutative property. You can do it in one direction and then do it in just the other direction and still have the same equal value. Remember me going from my house all the way down 75 to exit 32 and then over here to Union Road. If I get to the end of the day, what am I going to do? I can't retrace the same drive, but I can do it in reverse, can I? And going backward from Union Road to the interstate up to exit 44, Dayton Mall, and then down the road, I will have exactly the same no matter which way I go. I hope that makes sense in review. If it doesn't, then just take my word for it, please. All right, so we can flip-flop those. Now let's see what happens here. We have 2y. Oh, look at that. It's almost in y-intercept or slope y-intercept form, isn't it? You got the y, you got the slope, you got the intersect, except for one thing. We have a 2y. So let's go ahead and finish that and give me your answer. Just pause for a minute, do that work, and come back. It's getting pretty easy now, isn't it, if you follow the step-by-step method. So now we're going to divide by 2. That's what you did, didn't you? Here we divide by 2. Here we divide by 2. Now we get y equals negative 3 halves x, and negative 2 divided by positive 2 is negative 1. So here we go. Slope is negative 3 halves. The y-intercept is at 0, what? Not 1, but negative 1. So now, on your graph paper, let's come over here and let's do this. Let's put down the original equation. 3x, minus 3x minus 2y equals, or minus 2 equals 2y. Just leave that there. You won't have to rewrite that at all on here. We're going to draw the linear equation line of this equation. So where do we start at? Oh, we have to start at 0, negative 1. Did you put that dot there on your graph? All right, now identify it as 0, negative 1. Now, what's our slope? Ooh, a negative 3. Do we go up or down? You're right, we have to go down. How many? 1, 2, 3. We want to go over how many? 2. Now, what's our new coordinate point? Okay. Oops, excuse me. That's negative 4, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4. And let's see, what's your x? 2. So, you must show those two coordinate points on the graph. Did you do that? Now, if you have your straight edge, all you have to do is connect them. Now, in the future, we're going to want to make a line all the way through as if it was a line like that. Okay, but for now, let's just show the linear equation line segment. Is that what you had? Good. Let's go to number 5. First question. Can we flip-flop this to get the y quantity over here? Okay, let's do what we did here, and let's first get the y quantity to the left. do that right now. See if you remember what we did here. Just flip-flop it. Commutative property says you can flip-flop the operations. So now, on the right side you have 7x. On the left side you have minus 5y plus 3. Now, is the y variable by itself? What do we have to do to get rid of everything but the y variable? We have to subtract 3, don't we? So there we go. Now what do we have? Negative 5y equals okay. That equals 7x minus 3. Now, we're going to get an unusual y-intercept, but don't let this trick you. And normally, in the homework, there shouldn't be any like this, but if there are, just take my instruction and go with it. Let's look here. We have a negative 5y. Okay. I'll make sure I have the right problem there. Oh, I made a mistake, didn't I? Well, this will really clear it up. You know what I did? I didn't write it down correctly, and you're looking at me like you normally do when I make a mistake at the board. Oh, there goes Mr. Wright again. He forgot something. That should have been 30. So my mistake. All right, so let me go back and just retrace. We flip-flopped it to minus 5y plus 30 equals 7x. Then we added our 30 to both sides, or we subtracted our 30, and now we have negative 5 equals 7x minus 30. Now we can do it correctly. Sorry about that. You know that I'm prone to make a mistake every once in a while. And that's going to be, let's see, negative 5. So let's finish this up. By now, let's see, cancels. We have a negative 7, because remember, we want to put that negative up in front of the thing, so negative 5 into negative or positive 7 is still going to be a negative answer. And then negative into negative is positive, and 5 into 30 is 6. There we go. So now we can start. All right, let me erase that out. Now, if you would please, identify your slope, negative 7/5, right? And your y-intercept is 0, 6, right? So now, over here, let's put your original equation. What was it? 7x. Let me use the red on this. It may do better. 7x equals negative 5y plus 30. There we go. Now I wrote it correctly that time. Now, for the slope, we have the negative 7, 5. So we're going to go down 7 over 5, but we have to start where? Here? It's a positive 6. Let's start up there. Did you put that in? Well, let's identify it as 0, 6. And now let's do our slope. Down or up? Down, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. We're down at negative 1. Okay, we have to go how many over? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aha. So now we have x is 5 and y is negative what? 1. Now can you draw your line segment for the equation? Yes, you can, right there. And that's how you do it. 2 more to practice, and then you can get off. If by now you understand this, that's great. Just bear with me a few more minutes, and then you can get to your homework. So, with that in mind, let's look at this one. Is it in the y form? Let's go ahead and switch it over to the y form. All right, let's see. We want to put 6x plus 5y equals negative 10. Commutative property says do that. Now, you want to, let's see, leave the 5y there. So what do? Subtract the 6x. Let's make it 5y equals minus 6x minus 10. Now can we go from there? By now, all of you have divided the 5 into each part, and we get y equals negative 6x x over 5. And then 5 into 10 is minus 2. So now we have it. Can we plot that on the graph? Sure we can. What do we start with? Let's put down the original equation. Negative 10. Let me go ahead and use that red. Negative 10 equals 6x plus 5y. There's your original equation. Let's go over here and get the y-intercept is what? 0, 2. There we go. 0, 2. Did you mark that down on your graph? All right, now the slope says go down 6. 2, 4, 6. See, 2, 4, 6. And then over how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, good. So our new mark, our new coordinate is 5 for x and negative 4 for your y. And then all we have to do is take our straight edge and draw our line segment. We've just visualized the line for the equation. Negative 10 equals 6x plus 5y. Last one. Go ahead and start that on your own. That should be a pretty easy one. I'm going to give you a moment or two. Let's see if you can finish all of this and then graph it here. So just take and pause for a moment. Okay, now that you've paused, and I've cleaned the board a little bit, let's go and see if you had any success. All right, let's look at this. This would be real easy to do. It would be 6y. All you have to do is, since the y is already on the left, we don't need to commute it. Let's subtract the 6 and make it x minus 6. Are we ready for the slope and y-intercept? Look how easy that was. Oh, you said, Mr. Wright, there's still a 6 on the y side. I'm glad you caught me before I went on, because you know what I would do? I'd have it completely wrong, wouldn't I? Many of you are saying, Mr. Wright, you forgot to divide by 6. So here we are. Y equals invisible variable 1 over 6. And then 6 into minus 6 is 1. So there would be a big difference if I didn't change that and left it a minus 6. So I have a minus 1. I have a slope of negative 1. No, it's positive 1 over 6. So now we're just about done. We have y equals 1/6 x minus 1. There we are. So those things you should have ahead of time on your worksheet. Now, if you have your graph paper, let's see how you did that. Where did we start? At negative 1. So we have there 0, negative 1. There's your coordinate. And now it's a slope of 1/6, so we're going to go up 1 and over 6. And your new coordinate point is going to be what? 6, 0, because we're on the 0 y-axis. And now the final part is to do this. You want to draw your line, and then what did I forget? Did I forget anything on the graph? Oh, I forgot to put the original equation, didn't I? So thank you for all of you that reminded me of that. There's the lesson today. When you're doing this, you can come back, email me, or chat with me on the regular time, and we'll go over this together. Otherwise, have some fun with the new assignment, and have a great day.